Okay, a couple, let's say fine points or troubleshooting problems that we've had with people setting up the loop. So I want to go over those. When you're setting it up and the handles are in the top position, you want these rings about eye height or just a little bit lower. And if two people are sharing it, kind of put it in the middle of their heights. Okay. For me, being 6 feet, I like the bottom foam tube to kind of be covering the latch on the door slightly higher. That's a good setting for me. If you're shorter than 6, maybe a little bit lower. If you're 6'6" or 6'4", maybe a tiny bit higher. So I get into the loop, put it kind of right in the low back area. I go up on my tippy toes and I pull the handles, and that'll snug up really nice. So right there is pretty good. How do I know if I've got a good snug position and if it's going to be effective? Is that if I bend my knees and you watch the top of my head, you're not going to see my head drop a lot. If it's an inch or two, you're probably good, but if you're dropping 6 inches down the face of the door, then the decompression is not going to be as efficient and as effective for you. So we're going to set it up differently. But let me show you. So if I got this nice and snug, I'm on my tippy toes. Now I go flat-footed. Now I bend my knees. You should see the level of my head drop very little. And even if I pick my feet up, which I'm about to, my head still basically stays in that position. So that's a kind of a great setting for where you are. You've got that set perfect. Taking very little pressure on your knees, bending your knees, your head's not dropping a lot. That's very effective decompression. On the other hand, let's just say you slide through the loop. Now we've got a problem. So I'm going to go show you what we do there. Anytime you get out of the loop, especially if you're sharing it, but I do it all the time, lift the rings and then bend your body and pull the handles back to the top position so that when you go to get into it, it's already set up for you. So assuming that you're sliding through, you're going to now slide this back, say 6, 7, maybe 8 inches. Make the adjustment in the slider so it's secure. Pull it snug, and then go back into the loop. By changing the position of this, it pulls you against the front edge of this door and traps you a little bit better so you don't slide through. So same thing you do, grab the handles, tippy toes, maybe a little bit tighter. Now I'm pretty snug there. I'm right against that door frame. Bend with your knees. Again, you don't see my head go up and down a lot. If I take my feet right off the floor, again, it still holds me in that position. You don't want to lift your feet off the floor because of the contraction of the low back, but I just wanted to show you what happens. Okay? Again, you're getting back out of it. You want to leave it set up for the next person. You lift the rings, bend your knees, and go from there. Unless you're really short, you're going to have extra fabric at the end when you're done. So once you've got it all set up and you're really comfortable, you've been using it for a while and you feel that it's perfectly set for you, you want to get rid of this excess fabric. So the best thing to do is come in, cut it with a pair of scissors, or you can use the utility knife, get a real good straight edge, and then take a lighter and then just burn the edge of it so you finish it off and it doesn't fray on you. One more thing I almost forgot. It's kind of obvious, but it's worth covering real quick. So let's assume you were setting this up from the scratch and had your handles at the top, everything set up. If this isn't the perfect length for you, so if it's too high or too low, you're going to come to the double rings on the opposite side. And then you're going to adjust it this way. So if I wanted to bring it up a little higher, for me, I tighten this up. If you recall, I said commonly just above or right at the door stop is pretty good. Then you're going to snug this second one up so it's not going to slip. So the length of it is really adjusted by the double ring, and then this, let's call it the anti-slip slider. Okay? So use these two to adjust the actual length of the whole loop.